top 7 most expensive movies of Hollywood. Whether it's a multi-million-dollar deal or a shoestring budget, movies need money to be made. The amount of money invested in Hollywood franchise movies is astounding. The budgets for some movies make you realize how small we, as viewers, are about the giants of the film industry. Between the multi-million-dollar wages of the stars and the pay of thousands of crew members to post-production and marketing, the franchises and films that will appear on a list of the most expensive films ever made are undoubtedly predictable, but the precise costs of each film will undoubtedly cause you to pause. But before starting, support the channel by liking this video and subscribing to this channel for future updates. Naturally, a movie with a big budget doesn't guarantee that it will earn a decent profit or, for that matter, be a well-written and engaging plot. Disney, for instance, spends millions on each of its endeavors, but that doesn't preclude the huge company from occasionally having box office flops. Transformers: The Last Knight is another excellent illustration of this issue. Despite having a budget of nearly $216 million, it still managed to lose over $100 million, debuting at a franchise low of $69.1 million overall. Here is a list of the most expensive films ever produced, without further ado. Number 7. Solo, a Star Wars story, budget $275 million. The focus of Solo, a Star Wars story, the second live-action Star Wars anthology film, is a young Han Solo who is not portrayed by Harrison Ford. The creation of Solo is notoriously problematic, with initial directors Phil Lord and Christopher Miller being fired late in the process. The movie, according to Vanity Fair, became the first Star Wars movie to fail financially. Its global box office revenue of $393.2 million was significantly less than The Last Jedi's $1.333 billion. As a result of Solo, a Star Wars story's commercial failure, Lucasfilm has switched its attention from anthology movies to Disney Plus original shows. Number 6. Justice League, budget $300 million. Time has repeatedly shown that having a large production budget does not guarantee international success. Warner Brothers lost money because the highly anticipated Justice League, which cost over $300 million to produce, bombed at the box office. After Batman vs Superman had a poor review, the studio tried to turn things around with Justice League. Many supporters were upset by the abrupt course correction because they knew that Justice League did not adhere to director Zack Snyder's initial intent. The legendary Snyder Cut was in high demand as a result for years and was finally released in 2021 on HBO Max to great streaming popularity. Number 5. Pirates of the Caribbean, at World's End, budget $300 million. On the other hand, Pirates of the Caribbean, at World's End demonstrates to the world that making a movie for $300 million can provide excellent outcomes. With almost $960 million in revenue, the third entry in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise became the most successful film of 2007. Jack Sparrow's played by Johnny Depp, continual battle for his ship while accepting his fate, and Elizabeth and Will's played by Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom, windswept romance make up the entirety of the film. What could one not love? Number 4. Avengers Infinity War, budget $316 million. Let's be honest, when has an Avenger film failed to live up to the hype, especially in terms of box office receipts? Given that Avengers Infinity War became the first superhero movie to gross over $2 billion globally, sticking to a $316 million budget paid off. Even though many people think the superhero movie genre is overused and that superhero movie weariness would soon set in, the statistics are to the contrary. One cannot deny that Avengers Infinity War has a tremendous impact on the history of cinema, regardless of whether they are fans of the MCU or not. Number 3. Avengers Endgame, budget $350 million. Avengers Endgame, the film that would wrap up the Infinity Saga plot, was highly anticipated. It makes sense that the statistics would support that. The film had a $350 million budget, but it made $2.798 billion globally. If you thought Infinity War's accomplishments were noteworthy, Endgame outperforms them by earning the most money of any film ever from July 2019 to March 2021. Marvel Studios is still making great progress with their MCU projects, but only time will tell if they can pull off another major film production on the scale of Avengers Endgame. Number 2. Avengers Age of Ultron, budget $386 million. The Avengers Age of Ultron is the second most costly film ever produced. The film had a $386 million budget and was shot in locations all over the world with numerous special effects. But as is customary for the MCU series, it was profitable and ended up becoming the fourth highest grossing movie of 2015. The second Avengers movie generates discussion about Tony's accountability or lack thereof and the team's newest member, Wanda Maximoff. Number 1. Pirates of the Caribbean, on Stranger Tides, budget $422 million. Not to mention the most costly film ever produced, Pirates of the Caribbean, on Stranger Tides, the only entry in the series to exceed a $400 million budget. Numerous filming locations, the use of 3D cameras comparable to those in Avatar, and the involvement of 10 different companies in the complex visual effects are some of the factors that contributed to the film's high cost. Regardless of whether you love Pirates 4 or think the series is over, On Stranger Tides was still the third highest grossing movie of 2011. That's it from this video. Let us know what you think about the list in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video, please like video and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you.